Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
What would you say you do here?
God damn it. Bob, we love playing here tonight. My brother's ready.
It helps if you think of it as a game, Bob. Every game has a winner and a loser.
You must possess strength to inflict pain, Bob.
Welcome to the TwoBobsCast. Once again, we are an A to Z rock and metal podcast. Hey, you got the banner on the bottom working too. Look at that. Like it. Like it a lot. All right, we're going to see how Herd's doing today. He's with me as usual. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. Just kind of mentioned to you a little bit before. Went on a little mini trip up
International.
to our friends from the north, just for a
America's
weekend.
hat.
Yeah, our friendly neighbors up top. Again, very cool, very chill. I told Mr. H that they're pretty chill overall. It's a lot of people speaking French, but everybody seems to understand what we're saying. So just really friendly people. I did notice the downtown area was pretty clean. Toronto is what I'm speaking about. Very clean city, beautiful, right on the harbor there on Lake Ontario. It's really, really nice. Just, a good experience. We did some museums and actually I didn't tell you yet, but we actually went to a show out there. And I'll talk about that later on,
right.
After you kind of
brief plan
everybody.
that? Did you know that they were playing? You just happened.
Happened.
That's the best, where it just happens.
That's
nice.
Yeah, that's something my wife and I like to do. Is if we make plans, we are going to a city, and then I'll just check and see what's going on in the town that time.
Nice.
So we just kind of wing it, and we were going to do a Blue Jays game, but it happened to be that Milwaukee was in town, and they're the best team in baseball. So it was really hard to get a ticket. So we didn't do that.
Yeah, it would be expensive.
Brian S. has quoted, "Glad we pivoted." We'll comment on that in a second.
Yeah.
In excess. We actually did not fully pivot.
Yeah, we're gonna do them. We're just putting it off. We're putting off your misery for another week.
Yeah, when we had made our schedules, we sometimes allotted 2 weeks for us to do a band, and we found that taking up 2 weeks with one band for multiple reasons is not what's good for business. We don't think so. So we usually try to find some shortcuts. In this case, the lead singer passed away, so we're going to look at albums and kind of lower the amount that we're going to do. But we're going to do it all in 1 week. So we're going to do that next week. So with that extra week, we're going to try to come up with some fun stuff. So I'm going to toss it back to Mr. H here, and he can brief what we're doing today.
All right. So instead of in lieu of In Excess this week, as he said, we cut it down. They're kind of easy listening to, not because I love them, they're their first couple albums, but because they're like 35 minutes and they're 10 songs. Like it's a lot of the same stuff, so it's easy to comment on because it sounds the same. So it's going to be pretty easy to do in a week. So we wanted to take the other week and do something a little different. And since we were on H, we try to come up with an H theme, since we just did Heart and we haven't done I yet. We are going to do I guess we'll call this pod number 55. We're going to call this Here and Now 2025. This is the best of 2025 kind of so far. We're going to talk about albums that we like that came out so far this year. Most of these on my list are bands that we've done or probably will do. There's a couple that we may not, but couple that we've already done that have come out with new albums, and then we're also maybe going to talk about our show experiences, our live experience we've had so far this year, and kind of highlight some of that. So to start that off, The Herd, give me something that you listened to this year.
All right. Yeah. So I'm just gonna go in chronological order
I did the
here.
same. Mine's
Yeah. So
chronological.
yeah. This first album I was really looking forward to. I really like this band. Um, and the time that it came out, it kind of worked for me. I was going through all the stuff with my dad at the time, and I just had this on all the time. I'll always remember this album for that reason. But it's really good. I really, really like them. The band is Architects, and the album is The Sky, the Earth, and All Between. It's a fantastic band. They kind of have their own metalcore type sound that a lot of people in the industry will go back and be like, "Oh, there's an Architect riff. There's an Architect. These guys are riff machines." Other than like Killswitch, who I think are the OGs as far as I'm concerned with metalcore. This is probably my next favorite metalcore band. So they released this album on February 28th of this year. Early on, like I said, going through that's the same week that my dad passed. So again, it kind of sticks in my mind, like cleaning out his apartment, had this bumping, in my headphones. I just really, really like it. Some standout tracks. I love Seeing Red. I love Curse, Black Hole, Whiplash, and then they have a song that it kind of seemed out of place. It's a slower called Everything Ends, but it ended up being one of the bigger songs on this album. Once Octane gets a hold of it and plays the heck out of it, kind of kind of what happens with it. But just an amazing metalcore. It's got harsh vocals, but then the choruses are real sing songy, real catchy. It's what I've always kind of really loved, and it's like the first time where like really heavy screamy stuff I really get into, but you mix it with like you build it up, and then the like the Howard Jones with Killswitch, like we talked about, before that same type of thing. I just love that format. I love the differences between and when one guy does it, or girl or whoever, it's phenomenal to me that he's got such a good growl voice, and then he comes back in the choruses and has these really nice sing-songy big choruses. I saw these guys last year on Louder Than Life, and Sonic the year before, so I did see them twice last year and heard a few of these songs. So just really like Architects, a band that I go back to all the time. So my first choice for 2025 so far is The Sky, the Earth, and All Between by Architects. So
Nice.
let's hear your first pick.
Nice. Yeah, it was kind of cool actually. That's your first one chronologically. We've got the month of February on lockdown
All
because
right.
my first 3 albums are all from February. So
Okay.
we have the 7th, 14th, the 21st, and the one you just mentioned on the 28th. So
Okay.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
My first one came out February 7th. This is, I don't know what number album. I don't know, 20, 15, 17. I don't know. Dream Theater album, Parasomnia, came out February 7th. As someone who is not much of a Dream Theater fan, admittedly, I really liked this album. Normally their songs get too long and they bore me after a while, but look, they're all fantastic musicians. I'm
Yeah.
not going to take anything away from them, but the noodling on and on and on sometimes is just too much for me. And I just, I get to 18-minute songs and I'm just like, I just can't do this. I can listen to 4 or 5 songs by another band in
Right.
that same amount of time. So it gets rough, but this one, like I said, I really, really like. Many of these songs held my interest. Like, I didn't get bored. I wish I could have heard more of them live, but I do understand they have a lot of albums and a lot of material and fans that are really dedicated to them that want to hear every song that they record. So it was, they have to choose and pick and choose. So they played like 2 off of this album, but I could have easily done with 3 or 4 of these. Really good stuff. I guess from not knowing from an outsider of Dream Theater, the Dream Theater sphere, I'm guessing that with Mike Portnoy back in the band, I guess it just breathed new life. I mean, because that's the only difference that I really know of that I could see as an outsider that made it work for me more so than previous albums. Like maybe it was just this group of guys at this time, were able to kind of put stuff out that I kind of like. There's lots of great guitar work in here and riffs throughout by John Petrucci. I mean, that guy's a phenomenal guitar player. Like, there's no doubt. But like I said, it's just I get bored with super deep, intricate sequences and solos of his. There's just not so much of that in this one. There's some really heavy riffs here. I like the solos. Like, it doesn't kind of go off into this other land and then come back again. Like, it's part of the song and it feels like it fits. And I'm not like, oh wait, he's still. I don't black out and like, is he still doing this? Like it's really good. It's kind of more concise. The standout songs for this one on me are Night Terror, Broken Man, Midnight Messiah, and Bend the Clock. Bend the Clock has like a Pink Floyd likeness to it. Like it kind of meanders around. It stays kind of, it doesn't go too far off, but it definitely has a lot of Pink Floyd feel to it. And I really, really like that. There's some just outstanding guitar work in there. So Skipper's really, really none. Surprisingly, I think there's only 8 songs on this one.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's some of them are kind of long, but surprisingly, there's nothing that bored me enough to where I was like, "Well, I just got to skip the rest of the song." It's all really good. So I have this kind of. I went ahead and rated these with a letter rating, but I didn't like rate them 1 through 7. But for these guys, for me, we'll probably do Dream Theater at some point. This is going to be in the upper probably 3 or 4 of their catalog for me pretty easily. So
Yeah.
I really like this album. I have this as a B plus range. And again, usually these guys aren't my thing, but this one was really good. Really good. So that's my first one. What do you got up next?
Awesome. So just kind of to let everybody know, Mr. H came up with 7. I picked my 7. I guess most
17.
Well, I
I'm just kidding.
actually came up with 18 albums
it's pretty close.
that I either that I spent a decent amount of time listening to. So I picked the 7, and that's what we're going to go back and forth with. So at the end, ones that we don't talk about at all, I'll bring up. Parasomnia was one of the ones that I liked that was in that 18. So I won't bring that one back up, but I agree with you. I was pretty blown away. I thought it was a really good album.
Nice.
Brian S. has commented here, 3 Days Grace. That's another one that I was going to bring up at the end. That just came out this last week. So
yeah,
not
I have
a
not
whole
even
lot
listened to that one yet. Good to hear that it sounds good though, because I love me some 3 Days Grace.
Well, I tell you what, there's just something about Adam Gantier's his choruses. Like the dude is was put on this earth to sing along to his choruses.
Yes,
so,
to put anthemic choruses out there, like it's ridiculous.
Absolutely. So
the guy's a machine when it comes to that.
And the fact that they kept the old guy in and just or the guy that's been with them.
Yeah.
I love how complimentary that Adam has been. Like,
I'm
hey,
curious. Yeah.
He's like, I left.
Sounds like an album.
Yes, he's like, I left the band, and they could have folded up and said, "Okay, Adam's gone, we're done," because he was the main songwriter. They could have folded up and been like, "We're good." And now they haven't been as big since Adam left, but they've got some pretty decent songs over the years that at least keep them afloat, right? So
I don't know. They have a string of number 1 songs that like rivals. Like it was Van Halen territory. I mean. Yeah. And that was half of that was after he left.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of kind of bad blood in there. I was at Adam Gantier's shows where he kept talking about his former band with the karaoke singer, so I've heard him say it live myself with my own ears, and I've seen him say other things I've read online too. So it wasn't just stuff I read; I've heard him say it. So there was some riff there back there for a while, and like you said, and of course, and he needed to get some help, and he did, and he came back and with another band, and they were really good too.
Yeah,
but he wasn't approaching the popularity that 3 Days Grace had. So I feel like this was kind of they wanted him back, but it's kind of more of a marriage of convenience on his end, I think,
Sure.
because they were still doing pretty well and kind of selling out the same places they were even when he was in the band. So,
Okay. Okay.
but anyhow, yeah, I'm really curious to hear how this sounds because I thought it was a little weird they were doing it live, and then I watched a bunch of videos of it. And I'm like, okay, it actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
And you saw him,
I
right?
did. I did.
So, and you said it sounded good too. So I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, well, let's see what the album sounds like. So I'm real curious to hear what that sounds like. So I kind
Yeah.
of wish we did include it and I did listen to it because I'd love to give my thoughts on that, but I just haven't had time. So
Yeah, there's good stuff. There's catchy stuff on there. It's a little
okay.
bit, in the words of the great Mr. H, it's a little ballad salady,
Okay.
as you could probably imagine. I mean, they have a lot of popular songs that are ballads, 3 Days Grace over the years. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it makes sense, but they go to that well a lot on this. But there's really good, catchy songs on here. So
Nice.
I'm definitely interested to hear what you think of it. Maybe the end of the year,
Nice.
maybe it'll be,
Yeah,
in
for
our
sure.
final.
We'll do this again around the end of the year like we always do. We'll always have a special like
Right.
year-end episode. We're going to do that every year, so we can definitely cover it there, but
All right. Meantime, my next choice for 2025 so far is another band that it's a newer band that I really, really like their sound. Don't think I would recommend it to Mr. H. It's a little atmosphere-ish. It's a little over the top, but it's got a fantastic singer and guitar player, riffs in their own style.
might be
The
good enough
band,
for me.
what's that?
It might be good enough for me then.
Maybe.
I totally respect your opinion. So if you say it's good, I will definitely check it out. I may not like it, but I will definitely.
Fair
Worth
enough.
checking out if you say it's good.
So my second choice is a Canadian band, Spirit Box.
3 Days Grace.
No, well, them too, but
It's
this
so
is
funny
Spirit
talking about
Box,
a Canadian band.
and the album is Tsunami Sky. It is, I believe, their second full-length album. It's their follow-up to their highly successful Eternal Blue that was released in 2021. This case, man, this band, I love the sound. Another metalcore type band, but this has obviously the female singer, Courtney. She growls and she has a real pretty singing voice as well. Seen them a few times over the last few years. I really like their energy. A little genty, I guess, if you listen to that gent type music,
Yeah.
but the guitar player does the scrapes like
Yes,
little Gojira-y, like
Yeah.
like, so you could definitely see where their influences are.
Yeah.
But I really love their energies of their shows, and I really like this album. Like I said, very atmosphere-ish stuff in between these riffs and her singing voice. So I really, really was impressed from this one. I feel like it was more mature than the other one, but good stuff. I like the opening track, Fata Morgana. I like Soft Spine as they're kind of hit off of that. I got to see that one live. Perfect Soul, I got to see that one live as well. The title track, Tsunami Sea, phenomenal. And I like the closer, Deep End on it. Definitely no skippers for me. This is a fantastic album. Just a new, I think, up and coming band that kind of hit their stride. I really, really like them. So this was released March 7th. So, right after our string of February. So,
Man, where all these are in a row.
early in the year. Yeah. So, I really liked they did an L or EP, right? Is the short one. So they did an EP with a couple songs on it, Cellar Door and Jaded. They did that kind of like an in between the two albums. So they're coming out with new music all the time. Yeah, just a real big fan of this band. I got to see them at festivals. I saw them actually open for Ghost when they were in Youngstown a few years ago. So that was a phenomenal show. But I love me some Spirit Box, so that would be my second choice for 2025. I'll toss it back to you, Mr. H. Next one.
You're correct. I'm not a fan of Spirit Box. Octane ruined them for me pretty much. I mean,
That's fair.
obviously, if they're really good,
yeah,
you kind of have to say they ruined themselves for me, I guess. But it's just Octane pushed them so hard when that 2021 album came out, and I'm like, Oh God, enough with the Spirit Box already. I was just like the whole time I'm like, they're not that good. Like I don't get like, oh, it's just nonstop Spirit Box push. So, but they, I've tried, and I know
Yeah,
they're
it's a
popular and
sound.
they're
Yeah.
really gaining popularity, and I just not for me. So,
All right.
but funny thing is, we're gonna move on to my next one here, and that is a band who also has a female singer and has more atmosphere than a lot of other bands that I like, and that's Lacuna Coil
Okay.
out of Italy with Sleepless Empire that came out February 2014. This band's kind of hit or miss with me over the years. Some of their stuff I love, and some
Hmm.
of it's kind of garbage for me. So, like Comalese, Karma Code, and Shallow Life, those all three came out mid to late 2000s. And that's my wheelhouse for this band. I like all three of those albums. Shallow Life, I like the entire thing. Every song on that album is really good. That's the A1. That's number one for me out of their catalog. I love Christina Scabbia's vocals. She has a style all her own. I know right away when I hear her, even if she's guesting on somebody else. Like you just know her right away. A little bit of her Italian accent comes through. I guess maybe that's what makes it more recognizable too. But she has a style all her own, and I love her voice. It's like candy to my ears. Like it just sounds so good. It's the other vocalist, the male guy, Andrea Farrow, and the songwriting that kind of makes or breaks them for me. They've been through a lot of members. They recently got a new guitarist in 2024, but they've been through a lot of members. So perhaps maybe that's why their sounds kind of changed over the years. Like maybe they had more stability when those three albums came out because those are all three kind of similar, and that's right where I liked them. Some of Andrea's the guy, some of his kind of mostly harsh vocals on here are okay, and some not so much. I generally like more when he sings kind of in his own voice alongside with Christina. They do kind of harmonize well together, but he also does harmonize with her as he does more harsh vocals and she's doing clean vocals. And sometimes that sounds really good too. And sometimes it kind of overpowers. I'm like, I just let her sing. Just stop. It's a weird dynamic between those two, but they've always had the two singers. So, but Christina is amazing throughout. And the songs, again, like they're hit or miss. But this one, I didn't like the first two songs that much. And I was like, oh boy, but the more I went through this, the more I liked it. I like Scarecrow, which is the third song, and then Wish You Were Dead, which is like the fifth or sixth song. And then Hosting the Shadow with Randy Blythe and Lamb of God. I like that one. And I wasn't sure I liked that one at first. I loved Christina's parts, and the Randy parts, I'm like, I don't know, because he was in there with Andrea and they were kind of both doing like harsh vocals. I don't know. But then when I listened to it a second time, I'm like, okay, I do like this song. So I recognize it immediately. So, and then In Nomine Patrice, it's the very next song I think on the album. And I like that one a lot also. That one's real catchy and it's mostly Christina. But it's a lot of singing. It's not quite as heavy. And Never Dawn, which is the last track. I like that one a lot too. That's a little heavier one, but the two of them sound really good together on that one. Skipper's really none, due to the Christina parts of the songs makes them somewhat tolerable. Even if it's a song I don't like, there's parts of it where she does her, clean singing. And I'm like, I can't not like that. Like almost no matter what's playing behind her, because they're not doing super thrashy blast beat stuff behind her clean singing, right? So it seems to fit more what she's singing. But like those parts of the songs I really like. I just wish the whole songs were like that sometimes, but like I said, there's just little things that hold me back with this band sometimes. But some of their stuff, like when it's good, I really like it. So I have this kind of as a solid B. Andrea, his vocals kind of hold this one back a little bit for me, but I liked it more as the album progressed. And the first two songs might be the weakest tracks on here. They're just like too overly heavy for them. They're kind of an atmospheric, sort of a metalcore kind of band too, so they're not far off from like Spirit Box. It's just, I don't know. I just like these guys a little more. It's a little less atmosphere, I guess. They have more keyboards like in the background, but not so much like whole parts of songs are just like nothing and just sound or whatever. But anyway, I think those are like the weakest two tracks, and I like I like this album more than I actually thought I would because I haven't liked their last few albums very much at all. So this one's kind of surprised me. So this one came out February 14th too. So what's up? What do you got up next?
The next one I have, I'm going to skip because I'm going to try to time this one up better so that we
Okay.
can talk about it together.
Did you listen to Lacuna Coil at all?
I
Are you a
didn't.
fan of them?
I like the same albums that you like back
Okay, good.
in the day. I do like some of their bigger stuff, Karma Code. I remember when that came out; that was awesome.
Yeah.
I like certain songs that they've done over the years. Obviously, the singer's awesome, and Easy on the Eyes. That really helps a lot too. Seeing them live.
Yeah, that's true too. She's aging, but
she is.
So are we all. But yeah,
we right.
That did help, especially like late 2000s. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
But like I said, I not even hearing her, just hearing her. I just listened to her on
she's
CD.
phenomenal
I was
voice.
like, oh my god, like it's just butter, man. It's so good.
Yeah, she's fantastic. So skipping one that I know that we both have, and we're probably going to spend a lot of time talking about. I'm going to go to the one after, released on May 9th, 2025. Another band that I know you're not really into, but very, 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 very popular right now. The band Sleep Token from England with their fourth album, Even in Arcadia. So this one I have grown to like. I was not a huge fan of it when it first came out. I really liked their previous album, the 2023's Take Me Back to Eden, much better. I saw them for that album with my wife, and it was a phenomenal show. Just a great live band. And then, of course, we were waiting for the follow-up. It came out. I remember listening to it the first time, like, this is weird. Like, there's some weird stuff on here. And some of it is. It's very out there. But there are some fantastic standout tracks for sure on this. The opening track, Look to Windward, I was a little annoyed with it first. They're very repetitive with the vocals. But once it kicks in, the song is really, really good. I've seen live versions of it. And I'm excited to see it. Me and my wife are going to see them later in the month at Rocket Mortgage or Rocket Arena. So I'm excited to see what they look like with this album. They got more money now, and they got more of a production, so I'm interested. Emergence, I saw just crossed over like 100 million listens since whenever it came out. I think April or so. Fantastic song. Dangerous is good. Caramel is really good. They do have some songs in here that, like Past Self, I do not like at all. I just can't do it. Provider is cheesy. I'm not a huge fan of it. The last three are okay. I like Damocles a lot, and then the closer, Infinite Baths, is okay. The band is definitely out there. I do like the fact. I mean, the guy's got a fantastic singing voice. That's the one thing that stands out, is just a fantastic singer. And then the drummer is world class, like out of this world drummer. I like, there's nothing special about the riffs. There's nothing special about the guitars. So that's kind of what's stopping it from me from being like this next level band for me. Very creative. It's something, again, that me and my wife can kind of share together and listen to. And it's closer to the kind of music that I like. But again, it's a step back for me. So I'm kind of curious if they, as quick as they rised up, if they would kind of fall out the same. They're huge right now. I mean, everybody loves them right now.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens. I'm interested to see the concert. Again, they put on a great show when we've seen them. So, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's my next one. Again, a solid album, some hits, some misses on here. Definitely not as good as the last album, which I would have said had no misses. I thought I could listen to that whole thing and really like it. This one, it's got some cracks in the armor for this band, but we will see what happens. So yeah, my next one, released May 9th. I think I said May 9th. Even in Arcadia by Sleep Token. So that's my next one. What do you have next, Mr. H?
You're right. I'm not
Yeah.
a Sleep Token. They're not for me. They super popular, all respect to them. It's just not my thing. My next band album came out the very next week. Once again, I had February 7th, February 14th, and now February 21st. Killswitch Engage released their 9th album, This Consequence. I almost always like at least some songs in every release from this band. This is no exception. They create both, kind of heavy and melodic metal with great guitar work that again it's just candy for my ears, like
Mhm.
it's just like that. It's a never-ending riff factory, and it all sounds like Killswitch Engage. They've had the same 5 members forever, except for they swapped the singer out and then brought him back. So
Yeah.
for 3 albums, or 2 albums, 3 albums. But anyway, yeah. So they always have stuff that I like, and this one's is no different. There's some great guitar work on here. Once again, Jesse Leach still sounds great singing. I don't know. I'm like, how much longer can he do this? Like if you're getting into like your mid 50s, man, and he sounds amazing, dude. Like Randy Blythe, I wonder too. How long can these guys do this? But they still
Sure.
sound great.
Yeah.
That's got to be so harsh on your voice,
Yeah.
Like, but he can sing too, like crazy. He can sing with anybody. My favorites on this one are Aftermath, Where It Dies, I Believe, The Fall of Us. I like all of those songs out of the 10 that are on here. This is wheelhouse territory for them. This is 10 songs, 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Like just banging them out, like they all have the Kill Switch Engage goodness. If you like them, it's all in there. This is a B. This is a solid album though. It's the usual Killswitch Engage for me, but it's not their best and it's not their worst. But
Right.
this one, like, there are some albums where there's so many like standout songs that I just can't stop listening to. This one kind of doesn't have those. It has a couple that are really good, and then it has a whole bunch of them that are okay. There's nothing really worth skipping for me. It's just there's not a lot of standout songs on this album, but it's still really solid. If you like Killswitch Engage, you'll like this. Just more or less than I did, but you'll like it regardless. I don't know how you couldn't if you're a fan of theirs, because it's nothing different. They're not going out there putting out some kind of weird electronic album or anything. That like another band I'm going to mention later that I like almost their whole catalog. So they didn't do anything different. It's just them, and it's still really solid as usual. So what do you have up next?
Do you have our common one coming up next, or do you have another one in between?
April 25th?
Yes. Yes, sir.
I do.
All right, then I'll go ahead and bring this one up now. One that we both really probably want to get into a lot. A band that we've talked about. A band that we've seen together twice recently.
I actually have 2 April 25th. They came out the same day.
Oh, no
I
kidding.
actually don't know which one you're talking about. But go ahead. Just go ahead. We'll tackle them as we go.
Okay.
Maybe we both have these.
We have Ghost's 6th album titled Skeleta. Again, released on April 25th, 2025. Yep. Man, one of my favorite bands. Just phenomenal. I was lucky enough to see them 2 nights in a row once with my partner, once with some buddies and my son. My son actually went both nights. So that was a really cool thing. And they played a couple different songs the nights that we've seen. So, but we'll get into that afterwards. We're going to talk shows. And we've already kind of talked about it on the podcast. But
we have.
We'll talk about it a little bit.
It's worth
more.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I believe my partner, and unless his opinion has changed, I think he likes this one a little bit more than me. All their stuff that they release is good. I honestly feel like, to me, their peak was, so at least so far, was Impera, their last album. To me, that's flawless, perfection. Every song is killer. This one, I almost like the Sleep Token for me. There's some cracks in the armor here. I don't think this is great all the way through. I think some of the songs fall a little short for me personally. The first half of it is really good. I think Peacefield, I think Lacrima or Lacrima, I can't remember how he pronounces it, but that is one of my favorite songs that they've ever done. I love the guitar solos, the melody, the big chorus that he does on Lacrima. Satanized is phenomenal. And Guiding Lights is pretty good for a ballad. Second Side is where it kind of starts to miss a little bit for me. Cenotaph is a little strange, and the closer, I really think it's not very strong to me. Excelsius, it's when they close out an album, it's usually something big, grandiose, and and the last one was the respite on the battlefield. I think it's just like a huge closing, like live track for them. This one almost goes out with a whimper for me, but I think it's because my standards are just so high for Ghost. It's a phenomenal album. I'd still probably have it in the top couple. I just think that Impera was so good. It was hard to top that for me. But there's some moments on here that I feel like they do top it, where he does top himself. Marks of the Evil one is one that I didn't love at first, but I really liked it. Umbra we saw live, and I kind of got more of an appreciation for that one as well. So just a fantastic release. They're just a band that I expect too much from at this point, but that's kind of my problem. Everybody that I've talked to loves this album, and I do too. I just Impera is probably always going to be number one for me. That's just their flawless masterpiece in my mind. And then now everything else is just going to kind of file in after it. And this is in that ballpark right after. So really, really love Ghost. So I'm going to kick it to you and share your thoughts on Skeletor.
Yeah, this one for me, this was hugely anticipated, but it pretty much lived up to all the hype for me in my head, which is rare because I was kind of growing as a Ghost fan, and Impera was awesome as you mentioned, and it just kind of set me up for this next one, and then the first couple songs they released, I was like, oh my god, these are so good. These songs are so good. And then I was like, oh, I hope the whole album, sounds just like these songs. Like this is going to be fantastic. So it mostly lived up to the hype for me, not completely. I don't have this as an A plus. There's some dents here, but it's mostly real shiny and really really good for the most part. My favorites are Peacefield, Lacrima, as you mentioned, Satan Eyes. So that's the first three songs, and then Massilia, Amore, Love Rockets.
Yeah.
That one kind of stands out to me. And Umbra, it's a weird listen with all the cowbell in there. It's a weird listen on album, but like you said, live, it's one of those ones where I'm like, okay, like when you see it live, you get it more. I don't know what get it even means, but like live, I'm like, okay, like this was meant to be. That's one of the reasons I'm sure they played it. This is meant to be like a live song. So it's just, I don't know, listen to it on an album. It's a little weird. I really like the song and it kind of grew on me, but at first I'm like, man, this is a little weird. What's this? But I'm with you on Excelsis, and I don't really like Guiding Lights as much as you did. It's definitely ballad salad city, man. It's like it's an 80s like drippy love ballad. Like it is and it's a little too Richard Marx-ish for me, I
Yeah, it
guess.
is.
Even though I like Richard Marx's ballads, but out of a metal band, I don't expect metal songs out of Richard Marx, right? So it's just a little off-putting for me, and I'm like, wow. But it's decent. Again, there's really no skippers here. There's a couple I like a little less, but not really skip worthy, but kind of let me down a little bit. Like I don't even remember what I rated this when we did Ghost, or I guess it
Yeah,
came
you
out.
didn't. We didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it came out after. So I don't know where it would be. Would it beat out Impera? Probably not for me. It would be close. I mean, this one it could be one or two probably,
Okay.
but I'd have to listen to Impera and this one kind of back to back. But this one is still really good, and it's an A for me, and I'm pretty sure I gave Impera an A also.
Yeah.
But this album is number one so far for me this year, and it's kind of not really close up to this point. So we'll see what the last third of the year brings. But right now, this is at my end of the year, it's this one's to lose right now because it's really that good. There's only just a couple spots where I'm like, yeah, but otherwise it's fantastic. So glad it kind of lived up to the hype. And I mentioned the show in there, but we'll get to that when we talk about the show. So What do you got up next?
All
Is
right.
this another one that came out April 25th?
No,
Okay, so
I'm
you're not
done with
doing that one.
April. I'm
Okay.
done. My next one was released, I believe, May 16th, 2025. A band that I really, really like a lot. It reminds me of a band that I've grown to love over the years named Seven Dust. And it's very much the same type of thing for me. The singer's got that R&B type voice. It's really, really strong with some metal riffs. The band is titled Sleep Theory. A lot of sleeping going on. Sleeping in Ghosts and
Are we doing Team Sleep next? Is that our next album? Team
no,
Sleep?
no. Well, sort of, because we have maybe a
Yes,
common
never
member.
mind. Yes, we do.
Yes.
You're right. We do have a comment. I didn't even think about that. That's too
Yes,
funny.
we do.
Little slip there. Yeah.
Yeah, little slip. Sleep Theory's album Afterglow, and this album for me, like I mentioned, how Architects was kind of like my dad's kind of while I was doing that. This one is my vacation. So when we went on vacation to the Outer Banks this year, me and my family, this had just come out a month or so ago. So this one I played a lot. It has a lot of singy songs on here with some big choruses. Again, this guy reminds me a lot of LaJohn. Hey, John, nice to see you. Long naps are good. There's no problem with that, and we're on demand, so you could listen to us anytime. Team John Sleepo, nice. I like it. But Sleep Theory is great. I definitely recommend if you are a fan of Seven Dust. Maybe the guitars are not as heavy metal. Maybe this is a little bit more basic. But I think the song writing and the singing is very similar. Tons of songs on this album. Static is huge right now. They're getting a lot of play. I love the song 3. Fallout was a single a couple years ago, stuck in my head. Just a lot of real good stuff here. So if you haven't listened to this band, definitely give this album a spin. I think it's really, really good. Again, especially if you're a fan of LaJohn from Seven Dust, it's very that kind of sound. The guy's got a great voice. Definitely check it out. I love this album. I've listened to it a ton. It's just, to quote the song, stuck in my head. It's a lot of songs on here get stuck in my head. Really, 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 really good stuff. So that's my next one, Sleep Theory, Afterglow. Really, really like a lot. So, all right, what is your other April album, Mr. H?
I can't say that I've really given Sleep Theory that much of a chance, so I will go and seek that one out and listen to that one.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Recommendation. So that's what's great about doing this podcast is sometimes it takes somebody talking about something and making comparisons for me to better understand it, for me to really give it a chance, where maybe I've listened to a couple songs of theirs and was like, I don't know, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's them. So,
right.
So cool stuff. I will go and check that out. My next album came out the same day as my last album, our last album, Ghost, came out April 25th, and that is Machine Head with Unatoned. Again, kind of like Killswitch, I like most of what these guys do. I say guys, and then I really am saying, well, Rob. Flynn. Who am I kidding? And this one is kind of hit or miss for me. I'm not a big fan of the ballads that he's trying to pull off here, in parts, or the extra electronics that they have in there. It's not them. And like I said, sometimes you add an element and it just seems to work. This does not really work for them, in my opinion. It's not like I'm get me Burn My Eyes and then all the rest sucks. Like, I like a lot of this band's material. Just, this one, I think it's a little over top with the electronic-y stuff. This will probably end up in the bottom half of their catalog for me, but it's way better than, say, Catharsis, which is at the bottom of their list for me. I don't like that one at all. So that was complete kind of separation from what they do. And this one is kind of back. There's definitely some Machine Head moments in there for sure. But my favorites on this one are Outsider. That one's just kind of an undeniable, like, earworm kind of song. And it's just not there's no getting that out of my head. I like Bone Scraper. It's a good song, and I do really like it, but even that one is kind of on the edge of being Black Veil Brides. Like, it sounds like a Black Veil Brides type of song. It almost doesn't sound like Machine Head. There are a couple little parts there I'm like, okay, that sounds like Machine Head, but the rest of it I'm like, oh man, it's close, but it's a good song. It's got a good chorus and it's kind of catchy. So if it's a good song, I'm going to call it a good song, even if it doesn't really sound like them. I'm not going to hate on it just because of that. But now, Shards of Shattered Dreams, on the other hand, that is a Machine Head song. That's a heavy duty Machine Head song, and there's no mistaking who does that one. I like that one a lot too. Skippers, Not Long for This World. Again, that's kind of the uh, kind of the ballad that I was really talking about, but there's, Scorn is mostly ballad too, but it picks up at the end and it's good, which is the last track, but it's mostly real ballady too. But Not Long for This World is all ballad, and I'm just it's not good. And I don't mind Roplin's voice. I don't mind his singing. He does some stuff like Halo, for instance. I can name where the middle of that, it's just him singing like a cappella kind of, and he sounds great. So it's not like that he can't do it. Maybe he can't anymore. I don't know, but it's just this song isn't that good for me. These Scars Won't Define Us is a kind of a Machine Heady kind of song, but it just is kind of. I feel like it's kind of disjointed and it's kind of heavy just for heavy's sake. Like, it doesn't really have anything that kind of stands out about it. It's just kind of there. So, and those two are kind of back to back. So there's kind of a dichotomy or whatever there, where you got the really ballady song with a super heavy song, but neither one of them I thought were very good. They both kind of threw me off a little bit. And Dustmaker is like an instrumental. Now, it's only 2 minutes and 10 seconds long, but man, can you try any harder to rip off the Deftones? All that song needs is Chino Marino to kind of drone over top of it like he does, and that is a Deftones song written all over it. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, the riffs, like right out of Stephen Carpenter's book, like just ripped a page out. He's like, I'm going to do this. And then it's got the keyboards in there. And I'm like, the electronic stuff and the atmosphere. I'm like, dude, this has got Deftones written all over it. I don't know what they're trying to do there. So Skipper for me for Machine Head, but yeah, I'd probably listen to it. It'd fit right in on a Deftones album. And maybe it is on that album. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So this one for me, I have as like a C plus. It's a decent album. I like it more than I did after the first listen. The first couple songs they put out, I was not that big a fan of, at least at the time. So I was like, boy, I don't know. But I think Bone Scraper was one of those. I ended up really liking that one. I think Unbound maybe was the other one.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, I like it more than I did after the first listen, also all the way through, when it came out. This came out, like I said, in April. I've listened to it more times. I like a little bit more of it than I did. But still just kind of a middle-of-the-road album for them. It's still kind of far away from my favorite Machine Head stuff at times, but there's also still Machine Head elements in there that at least it's kind of back from the catharsis land, which was bad. So anyway, what did you have next?
Yeah, I didn't have Machine Head. To me, it wasn't bad. To me, it wasn't real memorable.
Yeah, I'm no with you. That's why I C plussed it. It's like middle of the road, but I didn't want to have everything on my list of stuff that I love.
Sure.
Like there's a band sometimes that I love, and sometimes they put it out that I don't love, and that's one of those.
Yeah. So just again, I had this on my long list because I've listened to it a few times. What's that?
What were your thoughts on it?
Again,
like
to
it
me,
even less than I did.
Yeah, probably. Definitely bottom third of the catalog for them.
I probably agree with that.
Nothing is probably going to be as low as Catharsis to me for sure, but it's probably in that next tier,
6 to 9,
yeah,
6 or whatever.
Yeah, it just not memorable. Even like I don't like Bone Scraper. Like I don't really care for that one that much. it comes across as cheesy with Rob singing "Love Is It's a Loaded," whatever that chorus is.
Yeah, he tries a little hard sometimes to get
Yeah,
the chant going, right? So
I know. Anyway. It just
yeah,
not bad, but it's
yeah,
not super memorable to me. I feel like their best stuff's behind them, unfortunately.
yeah, I agree with you there.
So my next album actually surprised me. Just came out not that long ago, August 15th, 2025, and I was pretty impressed because there'd been a few albums. I haven't been crazy about these guys. We did do a podcast on them before YouTube, so definitely check it on Spotify. The band is Chevelle, and the release Bright as Blasphemy. I listened to it when it first came out and was pleasantly surprised. I wouldn't put it in their probably top couple, but I would say maybe borderline right in the middle. Pretty solid release. They're still sounding great. Live, I don't necessarily think they're as fantastic anymore as they used to be, but their studio albums to me, I still think they sound fantastic. The guitars, the Pete's voice is still really good. So I like it. To me it's a strong Chevelle release. When I heard the single Rabbit Hole or Cowards Part 1, I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. But it's a pretty solid album. Um, the first three, I think Pale Horse, Rabbit Hole, Jim Jones is really good. Hallucinations, they try to do something a little bit like more ballady, but then they come back with Wolves. I really like that. 9 songs, 39 minutes. I mean, again, like right in the wheelhouse of like that's a fun listen to me. Is it's not intimidating to go into. Like I'll just throw it on while I'm working, and I it goes right through it. Like really nice, nice album of theirs, and they're still, coming out with albums. It's their 10th studio album, and they have as consistent of a career front to back as almost anybody. I wasn't a huge fan of that their most recent than Neuradius, and then the one before it, the North Corridor. I mean, those two again solid, but I really think this one's probably a little bit better than both of those. So. Again, solid album. If you're a Chevelle fan, don't give up on them yet. There's some solid stuff on here. Just they have a way about their material, especially on album. It's just very well produced. Everything sounds really good. So, Pete is still killing it. I know there's nothing else that really stands out other than the guitar and his voice. The drums are fine. The bass playing is fine. Like nothing really stands out, but Pete is fantastic, and he's still doing it to this day. So that's my next choice was the new Chevelle album. Bright as Blasphemy. Sorry.
Nice.
So I will kick it over to you. I believe you should have one more.
Two more.
Okay.
Two more.
Shoot.
All right. My next one came out July 4th. This is a band that most people that are going to listen to this, if not all people listen to this, have ever heard of. And that's unfortunate because they're really good, but it's going to appeal to segments of people more than others. But the band is called Witch Hazel, spelled WYTCH HAZEL. The album was called Lamentations. It came out July 4th, and it is their 5th album. This one is it goes back. I go back a few years with these guys, about 5 years or so. They started in 2011, but this is kind of more of the same from them. They've kind of carved out their own sound. They're an English band. It's kind of hard rock / heavy metal, but it's not very heavy at all. I got into them through Bill Peters and his Metal on Metal show every Friday night on WJCU 88.7, 6:30 to 9:30. I guess I might as well throw it all in there if I'm going to throw it in there. Every week. So he's been doing the show for 43 years now, and he just finds this stuff. People in Europe send him stuff. This is one of those bands that somebody sent him or he found when over in Europe. He works for Warner Brothers, Electra Atlantic, the label. So he has access to getting stuff, more so than the rest of us do. But he's just, I don't know, he finds this stuff, and I tend to I like his taste in music. I guess he's a little older than I am. He's probably the same years older than I am. I've heard he's probably 9-10 years older than me, but he was kind of into the new wave of British heavy metal when it started in the 80s, where I was like 8 or 9. I was a little too young for that, but he was really into that, and this band sounds like that. um, it To me, they have like a feel all their own, but if I were to kind of combine bands, they have kind of a Deep Purple meets Iron Maiden kind of a sound to them, but a slightly mellower version, like not as up tempo and fast. It's more, chord progressions and like some really really good like riff work. Um, but kind of like I said, a new wave of British heavy metal sounding band with like medieval and religious lyrical themes. It's pretty enlightening and kind of uplifting music to me. Like, it's, for the most part, it's not like Black Sabbath. It's not doomy. Like, it's pretty kind of uplifting and enlightening, and it just feels good to listen to. And it usually puts me in kind of like a positive frame of mind. It's just really cool, memorable guitar driven riffs and chord progressions, like I said. So I loved their 2020 album, their third album, called Pentecost, and it's just loaded with great songs. And then when Bill started playing that, I'm like, oh my God, like, this is fantastic. I could not get those songs out of my head. And then COVID was going on, because that came out in 2020. COVID was going on, and I found online, I was watching, like, in the mornings sometimes, Colin Hendra, the singer and guitar player, he writes and records like a lot of the music himself, or he writes a lot of the music, and he would record. He plays piano, he plays bass, he plays drums, he plays guitar, he sings. So yes, Archangel, yeah, is a great song. There's 3 or 4 that are just amazing songs on that album. But this one, like, it just kind of falls right in with that. Like I said, they have their own kind of sound. But when I was watching him, I found him online, like, writing and recording some songs for the 4th album, which is called Sacrament, which was really cool. Like, I love that process of seeing a person create. Like, and he was kind of live streaming it, right? So he would play, like, some guitar riff that he wrote, and he'd be like, "What do you guys think of that?" And then, or he'd play a little different. He goes, "Is that better or worse or whatever?" He wasn't like collaboratingly writing songs with the audience, but he was just kind of getting a feel for what they thought. And then he'd play drums, and then he'd play keyboard, and then he would kind of put it all together, because he had software where he could just put the tracks all together and play and line them all up and play them in real time. So it was really cool to hear those songs that he wrote on that album. I was like, man, this is awesome. Like, I remember writing this song. So it's just a really cool experience that I'll never really forget. But like I said, they just kind of plodded along, and they kind of keep doing the same kind of, they have the same sound. He just writes new songs that sound a little different than the other ones, but still sounds like them. So I really like this album as well. My favorites on here are The Citadel, Elements, Woven, Heavy Load, and Healing Power. Healing Power is the last track on here, and that's a fantastic song. Like, that is a quintessential Witch Hazel type song, like, kind of like Archangel, or like he was talking about, like John was talking about. Um, it's just, it has that. It sounds so good. The chorus is just kind of uplifting, and it just sticks in your head. They're not really a Christian band, but he keeps denying that they are. But they do have a lot of religious themes. But he's like a teacher. Like, he's real open about his family and like what he does, like, for a living, like for a real job. And like, this is all, he comes home, and they have dinner, and then he goes and he records stuff, and he was like putting stuff out, and it's like 8 o'clock at night their time, and it's 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon for me. So I'd be done with work, and I would just kind of get on the computer, and I'd hop on, and I'd watch this guy write songs for like 2 hours. It was just the coolest thing, because we couldn't really go do anything else. So, but really, there's no skippers here. I have this as a B+. I really like this album, and I think I'll like it even more with more listens, like, kind of like their 4th album. Like, the 3rd album I liked immediately. Their 4th album took a little bit to kind of get more into it, but it still sounds so much like them. There's a lot more in there than I thought. This one's kind of going to be like that, even though I mentioned, I think 6 out of the 10 songs or 10 songs already of my favorites. So there's just a lot of good stuff on here. So if you find them, Witch Hazel, check them out. What'd you have up next?
So I'd never heard of Witch Hazel, so that'll be my takeaway from this.
Cool.
Definitely want to give them a listen and see. I kept thinking that song, the All For You song, but that's Sister Hazel. So I was like, I don't.
Yes, yeah. That's
the,
funny you say that.
it's hard to say what it is I see.
Yes,
Yeah, like the
definitely
Q104
not
song.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's a pleasant surprise. I don't know why my mind was going to that. I'm like, Mr. H definitely
What
listens to
have you
something
lost your
different.
mind? Like what's
No,
going on?
to each their
No,
own.
like
You know, that's all
Mr.
good.
Ace loses mind. Like
But rock and metal podcasts, like you know, yep. Brian S likes the Sister Hazel song, but that's what I thought of when you said Witch Hazel. I was thinking, oh, for you, like anyway. Definitely, yeah. As John says, just a little bit different. Yeah, so I'll check those guys
slightly.
out. Anyway, so the last album, I believe we both have. And it's an album that just came out. So I don't even really have a whole lot to say about it. But we have the Deftones' new release, Private Music, released just last week, April 22nd, 2025. And we just did Deftones on the podcast. So
Yes.
we both were like, yeah, let's pick it and just give our thoughts on it. So far, I am pretty impressed. I definitely liked the first single a lot when it dropped. The My Mind Is a Mountain, pretty heavy, pretty solid track. As I've listened to it, probably 2-3 times so far. Um, it's a solid album. In the middle of it, it kind of loses me a little bit. Their second single, Milk of the Madonna, I wasn't really as big of a fan as the first album, but I think overall, pretty on par, I think, with where they were with like Ohms. I think it's a little different sound, maybe not as heavy as Ohms, but it's still, I think, a solid Deftones record. Still putting out stuff. 11 songs, 42 minutes. I think it's just about perfect for what I would want from a Deftones album. But overall, I don't really know as far as like the whole cat. It's just, again, it's only been out a week and a half, but I've listened to it a few times, and so far I think it's pretty good. So I'll go ahead and hear what you have to say about the Deftones' new record, Mr. H.
Um, I have this on my list because, well, one, yes, we just did them a few weeks ago, but we also talked about, the song that was already out, and I was curious. Like, I don't know if it even was out yet when we did them, but either way, I know I was kind of down on the Deftones, and I even mentioned, I think, in one of my closing remarks on that podcast
Yeah.
that I wasn't really looking forward to anything new coming out from them because they had just gone off in a direction that I wasn't feeling,
Yeah.
so from the stuff I really liked by them. So when this came out, of course I'm gonna listen to it. But
Yeah.
I was like, this is probably gonna be a big nothing burger for me. But it turns out I like this one way more than any Deftones I've heard in a long time. So
Okay.
um there's a lot of great guitar riffs throughout here, and Abe is still in top form.
Yep.
With some just great like complex rhythms and stuff that he puts in there. Like he's so underrated. And Chino is still more sad, introspective Chino than angry Chino, which I much prefer. But it doesn't bother me as much on this one. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of melody and memorable songs and some dark, heavy guitar riffs in here. And it's not like it just has a Deftones, like old Deftones feel to me,
Yeah. I can sense that. Yeah.
and it's new, like it's newer because it has all like the atmosphere stuff in it, but it's kind of more about the music. Like it's not, there's no weird tracks in here really. There's one that's kind of weird, but it's not even really that weird once it kind of gets going. There's not just a lot of what are they doing? Like what sometimes I'm just asking myself, like, what are they doing? Or like, Chino singing through some filter, which just sounds. I'm like, I don't understand what he's doing. Like, it doesn't sound good, and like they just do a lot of weird stuff. But there's not a lot of weirdness on here. These are all just kind of really good songs. All kind of sound. They have a similar kind of vibe to them. there's a little bit of different parts here and there, like with Departing the Body, but even parts of that one I really like. Like it has kind of throwback Deftones kind of sounds in there, and I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting to find that at this point in their career anymore. So I was pleasantly surprised. Now, I didn't love it.
Yeah.
It's not the first two albums for me, but I was just, man, I've got to put this in my list over a couple other bands. Like I didn't put Coheed and Cambria in here because that came out this year, but we just did them a few weeks ago, and it was out when we did that. So this one wasn't. And the Coheed I like too, but I'm just, this one just shocked me. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I got to get this one in there. So I'm glad you liked it too. I'm kind of wondering if I should go see him. I mean, isn't it coming up here?
It's
in a couple
tomorrow.
days? It's tomorrow. Yeah, I knew it was real soon here. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to go. But man, I feel like I might be. I got a little FOMO on this one. I kind of feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah.
So I my favorites are Locked Club. Immediately, I liked Infinite Source and Souvenir are my two favorite songs. Those are still two of my favorite songs on here. And I like Milk of the Madonna. I wasn't sure at first, but that one kind of grew on me. And like I said, I like parts of a lot of other songs too, So My Mind Is a Mountain is a good song too. And Ecdysis, the
Yeah.
third song, I like that one too. So I wasn't gonna put them all in here as favorites, but I like all these songs for the most part. So I Think About You All the Time is okay. Like there's just nothing here for me to skip, and I'm shocked that there's nothing for me to skip on a Deftones album in 2025. I'm just shocked by that.
That's awesome.
So B plus, really solid album, and I'm really surprised to be saying that. So
Awesome.
You got any more albums, or you want to say any more about? The Deftones?
I'll mention a few that I really that
All right.
I may not love as much, or like the ones that I mentioned, but All That Remains has a new one called Anti-Fragile. It's got a few good songs on it. With them though, they have a few really good ones early on, and they haven't been able to live up to that. So definitely a few cool songs worth checking out. Another band I really like is Ginger. They have a new one called Duel. Again, really like some of their stuff. They got a cool metal reggae type mix, which is interesting. If I'm in the right mood for it, I'll listen to it. Another easy on the eyes female singer is not tough to go see them live. She's got a real dark growl, but she has a really good singing voice. They're a Ukrainian band. Really, really good, solid band as well. The Coheed and Cambria, again, like you mentioned, Mr. H, we talked about that when we ranked the albums that had come out. I'd seen them live. I think it's really, really a good album. It's, middle of their list. I can't remember where both of us ranked it, but I think we both liked it quite a bit. Some really good stuff on there for sure. John, I know I'm late. No, we have not talked about Dorothy, but I do.
Not. It's getting a lot of run, man. I've seen a lot about it, and I've listened to a little bit of it.
Yeah, I think she's coming to Cleveland next month, maybe.
Yes,
yeah,
you're correct. Globe Iron, I think.
Me and
half
my
price
wife
today, half price tickets. I think it ends today. So
okay. Me and my wife seen Dorothy, I believe, 3 years ago.
Okay.
And she's awesome. Like she's
seen them a couple times too.
Yeah, she's got a killer voice. She's a phenomenal singer. She's got a great stage presence. It's a little more. Some of it's a little country-ish for me.
Yeah,
which I'm not crazy about. But sometimes some of her voices, or some of her songs, her voice just kind of carries through it. So definitely like Dorothy. Didn't make any of my list.
Haven't listened to this one yet. I really haven't given it a lot of time. So.
Yeah, I probably have heard whatever they were playing on the radio or something.
Yeah,
one of those songs
for me, maybe one or two more. But
Volbeat, who I'm very hot cold on, they released a new one called God of Angel Trust. The same as I think most of their albums, the last 3-4 for me, very hit or miss. Like when it hits, it's really good. When it misses, sometimes they get real ballady too.
Yep.
I mean, their best albums all obviously are behind them.
Yeah.
I can listen so much to Volbeat, but
There's
but
a
solid
pocket
enough.
of their stuff where I like every single
Yep.
song. Like there's
Yep.
a couple albums there, but that's rare. For the
Yep.
most part, it's more hit or miss, like you said, I think.
Yep, absolutely. Another band who's very different than our format, but I actually saw them with my wife in Toronto. A band from Akron, Ohio, the Black Keys.
Devo.
No, wrong Akron band, but
Pretenders.
yeah, no, not them either. But the Black Keys, who
Yeah.
not a real big fan of the Black Keys,
Not at all for me.
but the guy has a really great singing
He does.
voice. And he's great on the guitar. It's very bluesy. Again, me and my wife went just because they were in Toronto. We were downtown. We
That's
decided let's
cool.
just go. It's just really
Yeah.
cool that we went. And of course, they come up on stage and, hey, we're the Black Keys from Akron, Ohio. And I'm like, hey, I'm Bob. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. You know,
Yeah.
we're not there. We're in a different country. So very cool, very cool. Their new album is decent. They've had their best stuff behind them too, but I thought I'd mention them just because I seen them. New Hailstorm, I do not like. I don't know what you think of it so far.
Not a big fan of it. Yeah, too much adult oriented
Yes.
radio friendly type
Yes.
that looking for that rather than just recording Hailstorm songs,
Yeah.
right? Like they've always had some stuff on their albums. There's always a couple that just find their way
Yeah.
to the radio, to the Q104s. We always
Yeah.
joke because they play everything,
Yep.
but more so WMMS, the rock stations. But then there's always other stuff there that you're like, man, they're not playing this, like some heavier stuff or some kind of more raunchy stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
This one just feels like they're trying to write a hit on every song and want to get every song on the radio. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's that ballad that they are playing the crap out of on the radio, though I do like. It's pretty good. Like I got to give him credit for writing a good song. Now it's not kind of my thing, but it's a really good song, and I want to give him credit for writing a really good song. But I mean, it is really, really popular. But it's just more of it's like that, and I'm like,
Yep. It's
I
not
miss
my
the
thing.
old Hailstorm, man. I really do.
For sure. So yeah, not a big fan of that one, but I figured it was a pretty big release, and we did
Definitely
the
was.
Hailstorm.
Yep.
Not a fan, just like you. Didn't love it. And the last one that I have, we talked about a little bit with Brian S. early. 3 Days Grace just came out, Alien Nation. I think there's a couple really strong songs on there. John, talking about Brian Adams' disease. Oops, we both clicked it.
Yeah, you clicked show and I
again.
clicked hide. That's hilarious. All right. Well, I did it again. There we go.
John, we're playing tug of war with your They Caught Brian Adams disease.
Yeah. We both want it so bad.
Like, I want to post John's message. No,
I want to have the Brian Adams disease. I want to make billions of dollars.
Right. No, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
It's not for me. It's not my thing. I actually don't like her new song at all. I change it when it comes on. I can't do it because it actually gets pretty good at the end, like when the guitars kick in and stuff.
It's not my thing, and I want to turn it off, but I have to recognize that for what it is.
Yeah, people
it's
love
a
it.
Really, really good song, So,
but
it doesn't mean I love it. It's a really good song. I got to give him credit for that.
Yeah,
and I think it was mostly her. Like I don't think RJ's writing any of that.
No, probably
not.
not.
What I mean? She's writing it all up.
I'm actually surprised that she hasn't gone solo yet. Probably because it's her brother.
Right. I think
probably.
that it kind of
isn't
she married to the guitar player too?
Yeah, their partnership or whatever. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, sorry, their partnership.
Yeah, they're not going to get married, I don't think. But yeah, it has to be. They're all just so close. Otherwise, it would be Lizzie Hale's solo project.
Right. It'd just be Lizzie Hale. That'd be it.
But the Alien Nation by 3 Days Grace, just some real cool. Mayday, the first single off of it, I think is really, really good, really catchy. It just sounds just like an old 3 Days Grace song.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah. Apologies, I think, is a really, really cool. Dude, it's Adam Gontier's like chorus. Like, listen to Apologies and that fat chorus when it kicks in. It's like, it just melts. Like that guy was just made to do that stuff. So
yeah, I totally missed that was coming out. I haven't had a whole lot of time. I really need to visit that one because I was saying, I was really curious to see what they were going to do with the two singers. So.
I think we might have 3 Days Grace coming up on our.
I think we do. Yes,
yeah.
I think we do.
So
Yes.
I'll listen to it a lot more. You can
For
listen
sure.
to it, and then we'll kind of.
Yeah, and
I'm
like we
interested for
said,
that one.
maybe end of the year that'll come
Yeah.
up again. If it's that good. So
Yeah, pretty good stuff. All right. That's all that I had. So if you want to go ahead and kick off, we're just going to go through some shows that we've seen so far this year.
I'm just gonna mention a few of them. First, I'll talk about ones that we both went to, and we can just kind of just both talk
Yeah.
about them. We talked about these in the past, but Disturbed, I, it was good, but it wasn't great. I was a little disappointed because I was so hyped up because they're playing All the Sickness, and there's not many albums that mean more to me or that I listen to more times or that kind of changed the game for me like The Sickness did. So that part was really good. Kind of the rest of their show was okay. It was the hits that you thought you'd hear, but they just seemed old. They just felt old.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, part of that's I'm old, right? But they just
Sure.
felt old, and it just made me miss the energy that they had. And like, when I was seeing them at in the pit at the Convocation Center, even like the mid-size arenas, or the Blossom shows where I was down in the pit for the Mayhem Fest, or whatever they were on, that I got to see them. I've seen them so many times, and I always loved them. And then this time, I don't know, it kind of left me with like, there's parts that were really good and parts that they just seemed old, and I felt old, and I'm like, I don't know. Nothing More was very, very surprising to me. I had seen them before, but they're on another level now than when I had seen them previously when they were a lot younger. They're really, really good live, and I thought they were great. And then Daughtry played in the middle, and Brian X just said, "Holy cow, this new Daughtry song bands!" I'm like, "Wow, what a surprise there!" That we're gonna talk about Daughtry in a second. Man, what a snoozer Daughtry was in the middle of that show. Nothing More just had the energy going, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be one of those nights, man, with Disturbed doing all of the Sickness, and then man, Daughtry came out, and like, I like some of Daughtry's stuff,
Yeah, me
and
too.
we've seen Daughtry multiple times, but this time in this show, like in the middle when he kind of slowed it down for like 3 straight songs, dude, I could have took a nap in the middle
Yeah.
of that. I
Yeah.
really could have. It was such a downer snoozer in the middle. He tried to bring it back up with a couple songs at the end, but it was too far gone, man. He just lost the crowd. And then, yeah, I think you had mentioned that you give him credit for not doing the huge hits that he could have done. He
He
actually
could
did
have.
reach deep. He did a couple of them, but he reached pretty deep and put out some of the heavier stuff he played live, some of the heavier stuff that he's done to kind of fit. But
Yeah.
man, when he did those couple slow ones in the middle, that was screeching halt, man. It was so boring. But anyhow, what are your thoughts on Disturbed? Anything that I missed there?
No, I felt pretty much the same as you.
You had better seats than me. I don't know if that really
No,
mattered. I
they felt
mean,
old and dated.
yeah,
Again,
God, it's so sad.
yeah, it wasn't. It doesn't. A lot of the Sickness album doesn't carry over live anymore. It used to just be
Yeah,
phenomenal, but
yeah. Oh
I
man,
feel the same as you. Like I kind of walked away. Like I think I'm good with Disturbed. Like
yeah.
it's
They
just gonna
weren't bad,
no,
I
but they're
don't
just
say
gonna
that.
ruin me
Yeah, I
going
know.
forward. Like because we've talked about that when we went over Disturbed. Just all the amazing times we've seen them early in
Oh
their career.
God.
They're just never gonna live up
Even in
to
the
that
middle of
anymore.
their career, even 4 or 5 albums in, they were still amazing live.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep.
But man,
Yep.
I could never get enough of seeing them back then. I would go see them every time they came here, or even close to Cleveland. I would go see them. But man, yeah, now I think I'm good, man.
Yeah.
You're right. It's sad. It's just kind of sad. That's all. It's not even their fault.
No.
It's just they're getting old. I'm getting old. It's just, man. It's just it can't compare to that. I don't know why I thought it would. I just kind of let myself down on that one, I guess. But anyway, the other big one I want to mention is Ghost, and I kind of just wrote a note here. Just wow. I mean, I don't know that I even need to say any more than that. Like you had already mentioned, it's one of the better shows I've seen in a long time, and it's up there with one of the best shows I've ever seen in that arena. It is the best sounding show I've ever seen at Rocket Arena, which was Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, and it was Quicken Loans Arena, and it was Gund Arena, and I probably missed 3 other names, but man, I didn't know arenas. I just go into it thinking, like with Disturbed, I just go into it thinking it's gonna have an arena sound. I'm just conditioned to know that it's not gonna sound as good as it does in the Agora or these smaller places, it's not set up for big sound like that. And I don't know how they pulled it off, but it was spectacular. It sounded so good. And then I got lucky enough to see him twice because you got tickets and you called me the next day, and I was kind of on the fence, and I'm so glad I went. It was so cool to see them 2 nights in a row, and the
Yep.
show was so good. It was different by 2 songs in the set list, but it was still fantastic. It was a better set list than Cleveland had, even though Cleveland I thought sounded a little better.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, we got to see more of the stage because we were up in the upper deck, but we were further back. I was
Right.
kind of on the side, and stuff got blocked by the lighting rig for me in Cleveland. But man, it sounded just unbelievable. And Pittsburgh still sounded great too, like really great, but just not quite up to what Cleveland
Right.
sounded like. But man, it was cool to see the stage show and the whole set again. Dude, what a great show, man. What a
Yeah.
great show those guys put on. So, and that was the first time for me. So, and it was everything you said it was and more, dude. It was so good. I'm so glad I got to see it twice. So, thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a good time for sure. Got lucky.
Anything I missed there? Oh yeah, we got lucky, and it was cheap, and like the timing worked out like so perfect. I mean, you could talk about that if you want to, but man, it's just you love when shows work out like that. We sat down, and within 5 minutes they came out and started playing. I mean, it just driving 2.5 hours away. How could you time it any better than that? It's like everything that happened. It was so good.
No, it's just
So
they're just a
perfect.
phenomenal live band. Anytime they come, I'll probably try to see them at least
Yeah.
once. But yeah, really good stuff. Not really anything to add. I agree with everything you said. Just man, they kill it. I'm glad the second night when they played "Call Me Little Sunshine" and they played
Yes.
"Faith" instead of one of their older songs. I was
Yes.
like, at least it was different and their songs we wanted to hear. So to
Yes.
me, that's like, all right, cool. It was worth it. So
Awesome.
and my son got to see him twice. It's
Yeah.
one of his favorite bands, so he was pumped for that. And yeah, just a lot of fun. A quick trip over to Pittsburgh. That was easy, easy enough.
Great stuff. You got any other shows you wanted to mention before I mention my last one? That's all I got is one more show.
I do want to mention AC/DC.
Okay.
They were the first time I ever seen them, probably the only time I'll ever see them. I'm glad I went. Just like when I talked about it on the podcast, I'm thoroughly impressed by Angus still up there doing it. He's still a madman out there. He sounds great. He looks great. He's flying all over the stage. He's still doing his thing. Like, it's definitely a different experience because all the non-original guys are stuck in the back. They don't do anything. And Brian Johnson does not sound great anymore. He's got moments where sometimes he'll be okay, and then he'll sound like he's out of breath. Again, these guys are just really old at this point. Just still doing it is like huge respect. But man, not Malcolm, rest in peace, Malcolm. Angus, man, I just that guy is going to like lead the charge in rock and roll heaven when he finally goes. But he is a beast. So I do have to mention that because again, I'll never probably ever see them again. That was the only time I saw them, but just great, like just legends, one of the best rock and roll bands of all time.
Really good set list.
Yeah, they played everything that you want to hear. So I was really happy to see them. The only other thing, and it kind of the Sonic Temple was my big show of the year. When you go to a show, you see Metallica twice, you see Linkin Park, you see Korn, 3 Days Grace, like we talked about before. I mean, just a lot of bands, like even like mid-range bands, like bands like Beartooth, I Prevail. Brian S. mentioned them.
Yeah,
Mastodon. I mean, there's a lot of like Killswitch, Ginger. Just a lot of. I love this festival, and I'm disappointed as of now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go because they're getting rid of the camping. But man, it's just for 4 days. All these bands, it's just, it's like heaven for me. It's just pick my day, who I want to go see, and go stand in front of that stage and sit in front of this one and stand. It's just it's like it was created just for me. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago with Ozfest, how that kind of led the way for these type of situations where like all these bands that I listen to, just seeing Metallica, Alice Cooper, Testament, Exodus, Overkill, all back to back to back on the same stage, to me it was so cool. Like Testament was just how amazing they always are, and Chuck sounds freaking awesome all the time. Seven Dust. I mean, I could just go on and name a lot of these bands. They're just so good. Ice Nine Kills, Bullet for My Valentine, Trivium, like all this in one festival. I absolutely love it. The camping though was kind of what made it for me, where you could go take a break. You can eat at the camper, you sleep there. You don't have to worry about the parking, like all the things that you hate about current festivals. At our age, it's just that
Driving
takes away
back
a
and
lot of
forth,
that
the
stuff.
traffic to the
Yep.
hotel and back 3 days in a row, finding stuff to eat and different, spending a bunch of money. You're like, you can bring everything with you. You can go in and out of the show all day, which they don't let anybody else do.
Yeah.
You drive there and park, they don't let you go out to your car.
Yep.
So, but they let you guys go in and out camping. So, and like you said, you could take a nap in the middle of the day and go back in if you wanted to, or go out and have a couple more beers and come back in. Like,
absolutely.
I mean, how fantastic is that? Like, that would change the game for me too. It just makes it so much easier, more convenient all the way around. So, they get rid of that, man. That's a big chunk of it. Yeah, you still got all the bands, but you got all the hassles,
all the other stuff. Yep.
You got to go to the bathroom. You got to, you got to you got to do the number 2, man.
Yeah.
You just leave and you go to the camper and you come back. You don't have to go sit in a porta potty and do it while people are standing in line. Like it's just everything you can possibly imagine. It's just so much better if you're camping like that. So, and I haven't even experienced it, but I mean, just all the things, that all the stuff that you hate, it's all gone. It's all erased. You can just relax, enjoy the show, and that's it.
Yep. And
so, great stuff.
The last one I want to mention is just because you and I went to it also. Shout out to my friend Brian Hendrickson, who was on this.
Yes.
He got me tickets to Dream Theater. The first and only time I ever seen them at the casino. And I know you, I think, won them from Bill Peters, I think.
Yes.
So we both got to see
I
him.
actually donated to WJCU, which is a college radio station, and got them that way. So I had to for a donation, but it's actually my donation was cheaper than what the tickets cost.
Sure,
so,
you're right.
Actually, got them cheaper just by giving them money, but that's because Bill gets all these tickets.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so
awesome.
It was cool to see him again. It's not my thing, just like it's not your thing. And I like a lot of those band like Opeth, that kind of drones on a lot and things like that. But this to me is a little bit too snooty type music.
I agree with you. It's not really a good way to put it, but yeah,
I listen to them and I feel like I don't get it. Like I feel stupid. Like I'm not.
I think somebody's got to go, what do you mean you don't get it, you loser?
Yeah, I'm like not built for it, whatever. So I appreciate it, but anyway, so that's the last one I wanted to talk about. I've been to a bunch of shows this year so far, but those are really
the best I've ever seen them. I've seen them open for bands 2 other times, and I've never been a big fan of theirs, so they're good. But yeah, this was by far the best that I had seen them to, and they were really good. So totally agree with that. The last one I want to talk about was Summer's Last Stand, which was just a really cool idea. Rock with a PhD, John said. Yeah, definitely. You gotta have a music doctorate or something just to truly enjoy one of their shows. But no, this time it was really good. Summer's Last Stand, though, this was a fantastic idea. Like, I guess they do this concert like with tribute bands every year. That I realized, because I actually saw people with T-shirts. They have Summer's Last Stand, says SLS, and I saw people in them with shirts from last year. So I was like, man, they must do this every year. But this year, they did the Monsters of Rock tour, which was in 1988, which had Van Halen, Scorpions, Dokken, Metallica, and Kingdom Come on it, all performing every night. Well, that show came to Akron, Ohio 2 times, home of the Black Keys, 2 times, back-to-back days in June, end of June in 1988. So what they did is they put cover bands together that covers those bands. and had them go out and perform all afternoon at roughly the same set times. Like, what a fantastic idea I thought that was. I actually didn't get to go to Monsters of Rock. All my friends went. I don't know. It's 1988. This was almost 40 years ago. I can't remember the exact reason why I didn't go. I like all those bands a lot. There's no reason I didn't go, other than, I was 16. Maybe I had other obligations, or I was grounded. Who knows what I was doing in the end of June 1988? Probably, so maybe I got into trouble. I'm not even sure, but I didn't go. So this was kind of like another way for me to kind of enjoy it in a separate way. But like, we brought our lawn chairs. There was like a couple hundred people there. It was outside. It was on a beautiful day. I bought tickets the day before. They were $20. Like, it was really cool. So they had the band that should not be. Well, yeah, you and everybody else I know went, except me. So, but the band that should not be played Metallica songs, and pretty much played exactly the same set list Metallica played that day. Under Lock and Key came out and played Dokken songs. They did almost their same set list. And then they had a band from Detroit called BFT, which is Brian freaking Taylor, I guess. BFT's The Zoo from Detroit, that did Scorpions. Now, they didn't do a, a lot of the same set list from that year, but I think it's because they cover more older Scorpion songs, but they were fantastic. They were really good. Took him a couple songs to get warmed up, Brian Taylor, but man, once he got warmed up, he could really sing all of Klaus Mein's parts. I mean, he was really good, and the
That's
band was
awesome.
really good. They had a little bit of technical difficulties with the guitar. The Matthias Jab's guitar, the guy, the lead guitarist on the right side, he had some problems. But yeah, and this was like before. This was Metallica before, right before Injustice for All came out. Like, one of the 2 days, the second day of the two in Akron, they played Harvester of Sorrow, and the band that should not be played Harvester of Sorrow too. So they played the second day set list. They just added that one song, but that was before it came out. So this was still kind of on the Master of Puppets kind of touring cycle. So it was all Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets stuff. It was great. Um, and then Under Lock and Key was when I think it was before Back for the Attack came out. So they played one song or two off of that one, but it came around the same time. And the Zoo, the Scorpions were touring for Savage Amusement, so they played stuff up through that. But again, they played a little different set list, is more kind of old school Scorpions, but they were really good. And then Right Now, which is a Sammy Hagar era Van Halen cover band, they did mostly the same songs from the Van Halen set list and other extra songs as well. So they don't normally play a lot of David Lee Roth era Van Halen songs, but they did the ones that they play live, and then they did a couple of other ones, and they even did a song that they had never played before that night, and it came out really good. Mine All Mine by Van Halen. So that was because Van Halen had been playing that song on that tour. It was for OU 812, and they had been playing that song on that tour for like 6 or 7 years, and Right Now had never played it live, so they learned it and played it, and it sounded great. So they were really good too. We've seen them a number of times, so they're fantastic. Like, if you're into Sammy Hagar era Van Halen stuff, there is no better band. Like, Ryan Monty, the guy that plays the guitar, the Eddie Van Halen stuff, is, you just close your eyes and it's Eddie Van Halen standing up there playing guitar. Like, he doesn't look exactly like him, but they all wear the clothes from that era too, which is kind of cool. But they have the singer had those big parachute pants that Sammy Hagar was wearing, his big red ones, like he was wearing those on stage. It just looked kind of funny. But Brian's up there in his jeans and t-shirt, and he had a red and white striped t-shirt on, like that Eddie wore a lot. And dude, it's unbelievable. He is so good, so incredibly good, like note for note good. It sounds amazing. So yeah, you have to go see those guys if you're into that at all. But it's just a really cool idea. And we sat there, we brought our lunch here, sat there all day. We could have brought all the snacks and drinks we wanted. They told you not to, but there was nobody checking any chairs or checking backpacks. I mean, you could have brought anything in there. But we even bought food from them, during the day to give them a little bit more money. They had shirts. So it was just, what a great idea. I even sent a message. I wanted them to do the Moscow Music Peace Festival theme next year, because that happened in '89, and it was a lot of the same bands, but you're going to add Ozzy, Skid Row in there. And I was like, there's probably cover bands that do that stuff, so why not, you still had Scorpions and Bon Jovi in there, so Cinderella. So that would be pretty cool. So anyway, hopefully they do something like that again next year, and it's as good because it was fantastic.
Brian's chilling in his Junko jeans and starter coat.
Of course,
awesome, man. Heck yeah, you
were.
were.
What were those Zubaz, or what were those weird, like, kind of loungy pants with the weird designs on them?
I don't know.
Oh man, Jams or Zubaz, or what were those called? John knows what I'm talking about. Oh, that's hilarious. So yeah, but it was good stuff. It was all old people, right? So it was all people that obviously knew the bands or were around back then and wanted to see these bands play these songs. So, but it was a heck of a lot of fun, and what a great idea. Hopefully they made enough money doing it. I kind of feel like they didn't, because it wasn't that expensive, and not that many people showed up. They had to pay 5 bands.
Yeah,
I mean, I mentioned 4, and then there was another cover, but there's no Kingdom Come tribute band,
right?
Although they're still touring, so maybe they could have just got them. But so they had a different band that just did generic, just cover songs, Guns N' Roses, all stuff from that era,
that's cool. Yeah,
but it's to open the show, and they were pretty decent too. But they had to basically pay 5 bands, so I'm like, man, I hope 200 people was enough.
Yeah,
but it was cool. It was in this little pavilion, so even if it rained, it would have been cool. So it was a lot of fun.
Yep, very cool.
But that's about all I got, I think, for this week.
All right. Well, again, this kind of gave us a reprieve to finish up In Excess. So
got a lot of homework to do. Kind of re-listen to albums we already liked anyway, or already knew of.
Right. So yeah, so In Excess next week, and we'll go through them, rank their albums, the usual over here. So we'll get to that. Brian's clarifying the Zubaz. You're required to have a Fu Manchu if you wear those. Yep, that's true. Amen.
Close. I could probably do it.
Yeah, you could do it. I don't know that you'd want to do it, but you could do it. So all right, partner. Well, thanks for another a fun one. I like our little special ones where we can talk about some other stuff, and once in a while we'll throw those in. So John,
this was definitely a good change of pace. It was kind of a grind the last few for me.
Yep.
So
so John, we'll see you next week for In Excess. Make sure you rank yours and let us know where you're at.
We're not doing the album that came out after Michael Hutchence died, so just FYI on that one. You can if you want to, but we're not ranking that one. So.
Yep. So all right, partner. Well, we'll see you in the next one.
Yep. Rock on.
Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
What would you say you do here?
God damn it. Bob, we love playing here tonight. My brother's ready.
It helps if you think of it as a game, Bob. Every game has a winner and a loser.
You must possess strength to inflict pain, Bob.